You're listening to a BGE podcast.
Friends and family gather round and fire up the barbecue. Let the smoke waft and float, that's what we're gonna do. You can't deny there's nothing like friends and family and food. Don't sit still, pull out your grill, we're gonna have a barbecue.
You guys like smash burgers? What about smashed tacos? We're going to be talking about that on today's episode. Stay tuned.
Fire is burning, the world keeps turning. Don't worry what you gotta do. 'Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue. Fire up the barbecue.
Welcome back to another episode of the Blind Grilling Experience. My name is Chris Peltz. I am the most interesting griller in the world. We've got a great episode for you today, I think, anyway, because I have held out way too long on the smash burger game. I'm going to tell you something. I have known about it. I've got friends that love it. I've eaten smash burgers at various places, whether it's restaurants or friends. I think Five Guys and Freddy's and, places like that have made smash burgers extremely popular. And you get on YouTube and they're everywhere. If you've got a griddle, in a YouTube channel, you've probably done smash burgers. I may be the only exception on that. Until now, I'm telling you, I have jumped into the game and oh man, I should have done it so much sooner. I really should have done it so much sooner. So we're going to talk about exactly what a smash burger is, how easy it is to do, the difference between smoking them, grilling them, and smashing them. And, I know it sounds obvious just by the names, but there may be a little bit of a technique that you got to work on when it comes to these things. So definitely, we'll talk about that. And then, of course, like I said, smashed tacos. Oh, man, you talk about new levels of greatness. Oh, man, your tongue is going to slap the roof of your mouth and knock you silly. These things are awesome. So stay tuned for that as well. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to the Audio Information Network of Colorado for letting us join your network and sharing out the podcast, the Blind Grilling Experience, and everybody listening and tuning in out in Colorado. Howdy, hello. Hope everybody has been well and safe this summer, and we'd love to hear from you. Our email address is blindgrilling@gmail.com. And of course, we'd love to have some good reviews and thumbs up and share it with all your friends. Of course, we've got folks that generally or, quite often email us, and we appreciate that so very much. We love hearing from you guys, love hearing about all the cooks that you're doing as well, and the questions. We've had a lot of questions about various grills, about charcoal, about pellet grills. And so we're going to be answering some of those questions in a few upcoming episodes. So be sure and subscribe and stay tuned for that as well. Let's get into these smash burgers, first of all, because like I said, I'm way late to the game on this. Like, I've eaten them. I love them. They're great. I've just not made them before. And I've had a griddle for a while. But sometimes we get in these grooves, I think, of making the same thing the same way over and over again. And when it comes to burgers, I've kind of done that. I'll do a direct burger over the charcoal on the Big Green Egg, and I'll do an indirect smoked burger, and I love both of them. And sometimes it's like, you know what? If you like it, if you love it, don't mess with it. Why change it? Why do something else? Like going to to a restaurant and you always order the same thing, and somebody might ask you, why do you always order the same thing? Because that's what I want. That's what I like. And, sometimes, because I get it. Listen, I go to restaurants and do that. We got Big Easy Grill, here just down the street from us. My friend Hank owns the restaurant, and And I go in there, and it's the best etouffee I've ever had. I order the crawfish etouffee every time. I've had other things, but I mean, that's what I want. That's what I go there for. We got a Chinese restaurant. I get the General's chicken, and they got other things, but that's what I want. So I get it. I understand that. But sometimes when we're cooking, we can get in that same rut as well. And every once in a while, we're like, let's try something else. Let's do something a little bit different. We're like, what do we do? And sometimes we're thinking it has to be a change of the flavor, right? It has to be, something so drastic and dramatic in the change of how we cook something that it's, you can't just do another burger way. You got to do something, like, ground burger and chili or tacos or lasagna, or, you got to do it a completely different dish if you're talking about ground beef. And, I'm telling you, I'm really loving these smash burgers. Wow. They are great. And I'm seasoning them the same way, but there's a change. And it's not in what I'm seasoning them with, but the technique. It makes such a dramatic difference, more so than I really ever imagined. You hear people talk about it, and sometimes you're like, oh, they're just completely inflating what they're talking about. And I'm now convinced that they're not, just to be honest with you. Now, listen, I still love the smoked burgers, and I'm going to do that, right? I'm going to grill burgers. I'm going to smoke burgers, do the smokehouse style, but I'm going to be throwing in those smash burgers occasionally as well. And so you grab your favorite seasoning, right? And you take your ground meat. And one thing that we've done a lot recently is, yes, you can do the 80-20, you can do the 90-10, however, mixture of lean and fat that you want of the beef. But we've actually been mixing 50-50 with the burger and pork, ground pork. A meat market here where we live actually has, they call it Boston Burger, where they do a mix of beef and pork. And we can do that on our own as well. And we've really liked, the flavor that we're getting and just the cook in and of itself. But with that said, the seasoning is the same. Whether I do the smokehouse, it's just flat out grilling, on the Big Green Egg, or now with the smash burgers, you can season them exactly the same way. Now, we've switched up our seasoning a little bit because we've been trying some out. We received some seasonings from Cosmo. We received some seasonings from our friend Mikey K, who sent us some rubs and seasonings from Fire Smoke Barbecue Company. And wow, so good, so good. That Windy City and their classic, the Six Corners rub. But I've been using the Windy City on those smash burgers. And really, you're looking for that pepper, salt, little paprika, garlic, onion powder mixture. I mean, you can create your own, season it yourself. Or if you got your favorite one, use it. That's all well and good. But what you're going to do is you're going to season up that burger, and then you're going to work that burger a little bit in your hands and get that seasoning throughout that burger. And then you're going to form it into a small ball. All right. And let's say, if you're weighing out your meat, you're going to want, quarter pound, as far as that goes. You can do half. Listen, when you smash these things out, they get huge. They really spread out. And so you may think it takes more than it actually does. So I've learned that pretty quickly. But you're going to form it into like a meatball. And so you got this big round ball of ground meat. You're going to fire up your griddle. And the biggest tip I think that I could tell somebody about cooking on a griddle, whether it's a flat top griddle like the Blackstone or the Camp Chef that I've got, or the Weber brand griddles, or even a griddle on your stovetop. This is all well and good for being inside, right? You don't have to have a griddle outside on your deck or back porch or wherever you're cooking outside. You can have a griddle on your stovetop if you want. And probably the biggest mistake a lot of folks make is cranking it up on high and trying to cook everything on high. And they burn it, or they'll burn eggs. They'll get this, burnt crust on the outside, and then on the inside of whatever they're cooking is all, raw and undone. And, they get frustrated, and they're not happy with the results. And they're wondering, what did I do wrong? And the first place that I start with this is turn down the heat. Even if you've got a skillet and you're cooking eggs and you're thinking, I always overcook, or the eggs are always, burnt, or the outer edges are always way overdone, turn down the heat, all right? Cook at a lower heat, especially with eggs. But even on the griddle itself, there's going to be times to turn up the heat. But if you're learning, you're getting started, and you're getting a little frustrated with it, the first thing I highly recommend you to do is put it on medium heat, right? When you turn those burners on, you can hear that fire from that burner, and just turn it down. Get it all the way to low, find out where the highest point is, and then go back, down about halfway, and don't just have it screaming hot, right? This is, just for cooking purpose. Let's start with a medium heat. And once you get it set to medium heat and it gets all nice and hot, and you're ready to cook, the second thing that you need to learn when it comes to these flat top griddles, especially if you're going outside, is do as much prep inside as you possibly can. And when you go out to your griddle, take everything with you. You do not want to be running in and out of your house because you forgot something, because that is a recipe for disaster in overcooking, burning, or, losing track of where you've placed things if you're blind or visually impaired on the flat top grill. And so you don't want to be making that, running that flat top kitchen 500. You want to have everything out there and ready to go. You get your griddle hot, put a little butter down, or oil if you're using some kind of oil, and get it ready to go. And you're going to have that ball of burger. And the first couple of times, I did not have a burger press. They make burger presses, and they work great. I do recommend having one if you're going to do smash burgers. But the first couple of times I did it, I just used the bottom of a cast iron skillet. And so that worked okay. It was a little clunky, but it got the job done, right? But it goes a lot smoother when you got a burger press. Trust me, it really does. And so you get that ball set on the griddle. You'll hear it, it'll start to sizzle because it's on that hot griddle. And then you're going to take your press and you're going to put it right on top of that ball, and you're going to push it down and smash it down on the griddle. And you're going to let it go for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And after that 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, you're going to take your spatula and you're going to flip that smash burger over, and you're going to let it go another 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. Now, if you've got it smashed down to the right level, that's all it's going to take. It'll be done, right? We're talking a 3 to 4 minute cook tops with these smash burgers. Now, sometimes you'll think you've either smashed it too far, or you'll find out you didn't smash it enough. That's something you're going to have to play with. You'll get a feel for it. And it's, there's nothing really I can tell you that I can think of to illustrate other than you just got to try it, right? You just got to get it out there and do it, and maybe mess up a little bit, but, you can, you'll still be able to eat the food, but you'll just find out, all right, I need to, smash it a little bit more or not smash it as much. You'll find what works for you and what you like. But the great thing about these smash burgers is not only are they cooking on this griddle and getting this nice sear, but this crust is going to form. It changes the texture altogether, right? I mean, you can grill burgers, you can smoke burgers, and they're going to taste great. They're going to be awesome. But these smash burgers get this texture and crust about them that it's just different in a very, very good way. And not only can they be quick, but they're awesome. In fact, if you're going to be sauteing onions and peppers and mushrooms or anything like that you're going to be throwing on your smash burger, I recommend you get those started first because the burger is going to cook pretty quick. So get those going on your griddle and then do your smash burger. And once you get that burger smashed for the first time, throw your buns on there and toast your buns a little bit on that griddle. And then, pull those buns off, and then you can take that burger and put it on the buns and then start working with all, if you've sauteed some other vegetables or something you want to start putting on it. Once you flip it, go ahead and put your cheese on. I would do it pretty much right away, especially if you're doing something like a cheddar or a Swiss cheese or something like that takes a little bit more heat to melt. So that, as soon as you flip that burger, that after the initial smash, then go ahead and add your cheese and enjoy. Absolutely enjoy what you are about to place on your palate because you are going to love it. Guaranteed. Kickashbasket.com. For all your grilling accessory needs, whether you're looking for the charcoal basket to manage your fire, the Kickash can to make cleanup easy after the cook and dumping out the ashes, looking for a lifter to help lift that grate up out of the way, or even some insulated gloves or some heat-resistant gloves, even some charcoal gloves to keep your hands clean when you're messing with the charcoal. Folks, they've got it on their website. They've even got their own line of rubs and seasonings you can check out at kickashbasket.com and tell them Blind Grillin' sent you. Folks, let's talk about the smashed tacos for just a minute. The smash burgers are awesome. They're great. But man, I had a friend who came over and he was telling me about doing these smash burgers. Oh, if you don't follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Blind Grilling, you need to follow us on there. We posted some pictures and made a few comments about the smash burger or the smash tacos that we made. So you can see some of that on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Again, that's at Blind Grilling. Oh man, wow! I mean, just awesome. Real quick, while we're on the social media thing, if you're on there, not only follow us, but also a Facebook group we have, Blind Grilling Experience Facebook group. Request to join that group as well and keep up with notifications of not only the podcast, but other cooks that we're doing. And, if you want to share your cook as well, we encourage you to do that also. Again, we love just hearing from everybody and getting the comments and put folks some conversations going on the cooks that we have going on. Stephen Mendez down in Texas have made some posts on some cooks that he's done and just some chicken and things. Just awesome. Just some great cooks. And so join the group, Blind Grilling Experience on Facebook. And, of course, check out the Blind Grilling Facebook and Instagram page as well. And, of course, YouTube, Blind Grilling there on YouTube. But let's get to these smash tacos. Oh, there's so many options when it with things you can do on the griddle. And a lot of what I'm talking about is very similar to what we did with our burgers, what I mentioned with the burgers. A couple of changes, but you can go ahead and, saute up your onions and peppers and, whatever you would want to put on a taco. You can get it out there and get it cooking on that griddle. And the difference here and what is just so awesome about this is not only getting that nice crust and texture on the meat, but also what you're doing to your tortilla. And we're using flour tortillas when we do this. I don't know. You can use corn, I guess. I've not used corn tortilla. I've only used the flour tortilla. But if you use corn tortillas on this, let me know. Shoot us an email, blindgrilling@gmail.com, or find one of the posts on our social media and make a comment. Let us know about it, or share your cook with us as well. But you're going to take, and, if you got a favorite taco seasoning or something you want to mix in with your meat and, get some of those flavors going. But kind of the same with the burger. You're going to take that burger that you're going to be using, and you're going to season it up. You're going to mix that seasoning into the burger, and then you're going to create your ball of ground meat. And you're going to go out, same process, get your griddle going, medium high, and get your, if you want your peppers and onions getting going and sauteing, get that going, put a little butter down on your griddle. If you're inside, get those going as well. No problem. Again, you can do this on a griddle inside the house. You don't have to have one outside. So you get all that going, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take that ball of meat and a flour tortilla. You're going to put that meat down on the griddle. You're going to place that flour tortilla over that meat, and you're going to take your press and you're going to press down, right, that tortilla, smashing the burger under the tortilla, and get it smashed down as best you can, and let it cook for, that 2-minute mark. And then you're going to take your spatula and get it up under there, and you're going to flip it. And now the tortilla's on the bottom and the meat's on the top. That meat will finish cooking. Don't worry about that. It's going to cook, but it's going to, that tortilla is going to, stiffen up. The tortillas on a griddle are amazing, actually. But you can go ahead and start putting some cheese on there if you want to put some cheese on there. I left it kind of like an open-faced round, almost, and actually want to try that, almost like a pizza. Right? I mean, you could almost do this, like a smash burger pizza, but more like a taco pizza, I guess. You could fold that in half, and cook that taco on both sides, and then flip it and get both sides of that tortilla cooked and finish cooking the burger inside the tortilla. I left it open and started piling on those peppers and onions right on top of that burger and the cheese, and letting it melt while that tortilla was finishing up cooking. And then I pulled it off, put it on a plate, put a little bit of sour cream on top and a little bit of hot sauce. I used the Green Line jalapeno hot sauce from Fire Smoke Barbecue Company. And oh man. Wow. It was so good, folks. It was so good. It was amazing. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I highly recommend doing these smash tacos. It's, woo, man, just amazing. I mean, you could do quesadillas this way, right? Smash it down, put some cheese on that. Once you get it flipped over, put some cheese on there. If you wanted some peppers, put another, tortilla on top of that and let it cook for a while, and then flip it over and let it, again, letting that cheese melt and getting both of the tortillas, cooked on that griddle. That would work as well. I'm sure. I haven't done that yet. Oh man, it's just, it was definitely worth doing, and I definitely am going to be doing it again. No doubt about it. It's awesome. If you got questions for us about this, let us know, blindgrilling@gmail.com. I'll be honest with you, the griddle can be a little bit intimidating. There are some good little tips and tricks and things that you can do, a way to wear certain gloves to help you with the griddle. You got questions about that, let us know. And also, I will say this, have a bowl of water out next to you. And if you're going to have to be, feeling around or something, you're worried about burning your fingers on that, dip your fingers in that water just before you go feeling around. That will help protect your fingers a little bit. Again, you're not going to be laying your hand on the griddle, right? I mean, that, you have enough sense not to do that, but, dip your fingers in the water and then feel around, a little bit. If you have to go back and dip them again and keep feeling around, do that. But that water will help create a little bit of a barrier and keep from burning yourself, and give you a few moments to find where you're at, where everything is at, and help you along in your cook. And so, keep that in mind. And of course, a cotton liner glove with a nitrile glove over that. It's a food safe glove, and it'll keep any moisture from soaking through the cotton and burning you. And so the nitrile glove will help protect you as long as you have a cotton liner, inside the nitrile glove, so you can touch some hot surfaces for a few minutes. If it's too hot, you can burn the glove. Be careful. But again, it's something you'll learn. You'll learn their techniques if you guys want to learn more about that, or you want me to. I know some guys that are blind, completely blind, that are using these griddles and loving it. And we can, have some discussion on that. If you're interested, let me know. blindgrilling@gmail.com. But folks, I wanted to share that with you. I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are over 2,000 subscribers. I appreciate everybody. And we're going to start posting the podcast on the YouTube channel if we can get our technology to work and make sure everything is accessible so that I can get this done. But I think I'm on the right track. So hopefully everything will be coming to the YouTube channel here pretty soon as well. And, of course, all the other social media. And, of course, the email, blindgrilling@gmail.com.
Friends and family gather.
Folks, thanks again so much for listening. Again, welcome to everybody out in the state of Colorado. We love Colorado. We used to live out there, and we miss it, but we know you guys are, holding the fort down out there. So pull out the grills, man. Fire it up. And remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.
Barbecue, no matter the weather, under the sun or the stars. Fire is burning, the world keeps turning. Don't worry what you gotta do. 'Cause if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Fire up the barbecue.